Okay, greetings, all you beautiful humans. So, today, the video is going to be called something like I am not a moral authority, something like that. I'm not your moral authority. That sounds kind of fun. Okay, the inspiration for this video was I receive a lot of comments, and they're always amazing. Usually they are incredibly positive. Sometimes you call me out when I need to be called out or when I need to address like part of what I've said, and people are like, what do you mean by this? And then I explain. But I recently had a comment which has inspired this. And the comment was something along the lines of like, what gives you the right to talk about this? Like, why do you think you are allowed to talk about this topic? And it was something about gay rights and LGBT stuff. So I have always been annoyed, or I get a little bit flustered when somebody tells me that I have no right to talk about something, or I have no right to do something, or that kind of thing. Because like, what right do they have to tell me that I have no right to do something? You know, like how does that work, right? And if we live in a society that is built on sharing ideas and freedom of speech, freedom of expression, then I have no right to tell you what rights you have, and you have no right to tell me what rights I have. So it's an interesting question, and it's got me thinking. Like, it doesn't like obviously it doesn't really faze me at all, but I think it's a good topic of conversation because it's something that has always interested me when like an adult or a parent has said like I am your parent, you know, you have to do this, or you know, I am the moral authority, like I hold the power, you have no right to talk about this, you have no right to an opinion, like blah 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 blah. I think it's an interesting topic nonetheless. So first of all, like, I think it's interesting that, you know, and like some people take it the exact opposite and like assume that I have like some kind of moral authority or moral high ground, which I don't, right? Like, I'm just a human. Like, I have no I have no like wealth of knowledge. I haven't tapped into like the ancient wisdom of the pear tree, you know? Like, I haven't like become spiritually enlightened. Like, I'm just a dude who's interested in philosophy, and you know, I've lived 26 years on this planet, so I know a few things, but I also know that I know how much I don't know, you know? Does that make sense? I understand that I know virtually nothing, but at the same time, like, I have experience and I have lived on this planet for, you know, a number of years, which gives me a bit of knowledge, a bit of insight, maybe a very small amount of wisdom, very, very small. But you know, I think it's funny because I have many amazing people that come to me and say like, thank you for this thing, you know, it was so wise, this was such a good comment, like, you really made me see it from a different perspective, and I'm really grateful. I'm glad that I could have like helped you see it from another perspective. Like, all I did was just say some stuff, and your brain is the thing that actually worked it out and did all of the hard work, you know? Like, I didn't do anything. But then you also have this other group of people, and they're very small, and I understand we're all going through our own journey, but these other people sort of say like, what right do you have to talk about this? And like, I have no right, and I have every right to talk about what I want to talk about. You know, like, I have every right to talk about everything that is going through my head and the thoughts I have and my opinions and my perspective. But at the same time, like, nobody has to listen to me. Nobody has to, you know, and I sure hope nobody listens to me too much. But I don't know. It's an interesting perspective. This idea of like moral authority and why we listen to people. I used to get in arguments with my mom about basic stuff, very basic stuff. And she would use this argument like, I am your mother. And as a young argumentative child, I would say something like, well, that doesn't mean anything. Like whatever, like, I am your son. Okay, cool. Um, and I used to just like, I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't, sorry. I'm just gonna let the car go by. This road maybe gets like 6 different vehicles that go across it the entire day, and I just happened to start filming when one went by. So, ADHD aside, yeah, I used to just like rally against that and just be like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're my great grandmother. Like, if I disagree with a topic, or if something isn't squaring in my head, like, I'm gonna ask questions. I'm gonna question it. I'm gonna figure out where the truth is in all of this. Sorry, mom. I wasn't too bad of a kid, I feel like. But anyway, yeah, moral authority and that perspective. Yeah, and I just think like the comment, like, you have no right to talk about this. It's like, what? What do you mean I have no right to talk about this? Like, I'm a human being who exists on this planet, just like the 8 billion other human beings. Like, if I see injustice, if I see something funny, if I see something ridiculous, if I see something insightful or inspirational or amazing, like, I could talk about it. Like, that's what I can do. Like, I've got that ability, you know. I live in a place where freedom of speech is somewhat still preserved. In some ways it's not, in some ways it is. And so yeah, I don't know, it's kind of funny. And obviously there are limits, like everybody always says, like the limit to freedom of speech is like yelling fire in a crowded alley or a crowded theater, not an alley. A crowded theater, like, no, we don't do that in this society. Like, our society has a few rules and a few things that we like stipulate on, and we try and just be decent human beings, which sometimes is quite a lot to ask from certain people, but whatever. You can't control everybody all the time. And I wouldn't want to live in a world where you could control everybody all the time. But it remains to be seen that when somebody leaves a comment on a TikTok or a YouTube video basically being like, you don't understand, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I probably don't understand. Like, help me understand, instead of bashing me and being like, you don't understand, you're just some stupid young kid. I'm like, yes, you are correct. I am a stupid young kid. Yes, you are correct. I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But, educate me. I'm a open-minded human being who is mindful of my thoughts and actions, and I'm interested in answers, not bashing other people. I'm not interested in that. And I never will be. But yeah, it's a fascinating idea. You have no moral right to talk about this. I have every moral right, and I have no moral right, because morality doesn't really exist. Morality is a framework that an individual will use either to guide themselves or to control other people. And my moral framework is not the same as your moral framework. And, specific historical figures with funny mustaches had very different moral frameworks, as we can see from history books. But yeah, our moral authority, that's such a joke. Like, the idea of authority in general is kind of a joke. I mean, authority is based on either power or respect. And like, why do you obey the government? Why do you drive reasonably on the roads? Because of the moral authority. Or maybe you say, no, I drive safely on the roads because I don't want to hurt anybody, and my moral framework keeps me from doing that. Maybe. I think maybe it's a combination of both. Interesting. Sorry, I'm using this as a backboard to think through things and to understand meaning of moral authority and who gets to wield it. And is moral authority a sort of, is it a lead that you lead people with? Or is it a whip that you demand people do? Is it a chain which you control people with? Interesting ideas. Let me know what you think moral authority is. Do you think it's a lead? Do you think it's a chain? Do you think it's a whip? Do you think it's a prison? Like, use some symbolism. Let's be symbolic in this video. That's fun. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, if you are one of the people that has made a comment, or if you've just even watched one of my videos and you've thought like, what right does he have to talk about this? Or, who is he to, say his opinion on the internet? You're correct. Like, I have no right, but I also have every right. I am yin, I am yang. I am the universe, and I am nothing, and I will return to the universe, and I will cease to exist. life is full of these fun little dichotomies where yes and no are the same thing. It's binary. It's superposition, to get into physics and computing. Fun topics. I'm such a interesting YouTuber. Sorry. If you're still watching, you're amazing. Like, literally, you help me like think through these things, and I love hearing your comments. I answered a whole bunch of comments, or replied. I didn't give answers because I don't know them, but I replied to a bunch of comments today, and you guys are so interesting and so insightful and so human and so amazing. So thank you for that very much. And let me know about authority, and if you want to get controversial and talk about something controversial. Maybe I shouldn't. Should I don't know. If you want, you don't have to, and I might not reply to these comments because controversy. Let me know what you think about, I think one of the topics that this whole moral authority thing gets pulled up in is the idea of cultural appropriation. And the controversial questions, or the controversial discussion you can have in the comments, is, what are your opinions about cultural appropriation? What do you think? Do you think that only a certain group of people who identify as a certain tribe or a certain group should be allowed to talk and express certain ideas and opinions and cultural things? Or do you think they should be open to everybody? Do you think it should be sort of a middle ground where you're respecting someone's culture while also embracing and appreciating it? Like, what is your thing, you know? Because now there's topics about sort of like, can straight people talk about gay pride? And, you know, there's all these kinds of ridiculous conversations, in my opinion, about who can and can't talk about the community, or, you know, this kind of stuff. So if you want to be controversial, go ahead. But I'm much more interested in your ideas of moral authority, and whether or not a certain human can possess moral authority based on their age, or like where they live, their socioeconomic background. Like, I'm curious, as you guys know. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy it. I have enjoyed just sitting on my porch. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Here, I'll show you. Look at this. It's just gorgeous. My brother cut the lawn. Life is good. I didn't have to cut the lawn. It's a beautiful day. It's like 32 degrees outside right now. So thank you guys for watching. I love listening to you guys. I love talking to you guys. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.